In the Grand Lecture Hall of the Galactic Academy, hundreds of young cadets from different star systems sat in silence as a towering alien instructor activated the holoscreen behind him. A glowing chart appeared, displaying bold letters, top 5 apex species of the galaxy. Names like the Croxux, the Velnari, the Therian, and 2 others filled the list, each one known for their brutal strength and terrifying presence across space. The instructor's deep voice echoed through the room as he explained how these species had earned their titles through countless wars, ruthless hunting skills, and dominance over their environments. The alien cadets nodded with pride, some even smirking as if the ranking proved their superiority. Yet in the middle of the room sat a single human cadet, young and quiet, his simple uniform marking him as someone from a lesser-known world called Earth. As he watched the list, his jaw tightened, and memories of his people's history filled his mind. Stories of survival through ice ages, endless wars and battles against nature itself. Slowly, he raised his hand. The motion drew dozens of alien eyes, surprised that such a fragile-looking being would interrupt. With calm certainty, the human spoke 4 words that silenced the hall. There's only one. The words from the human cadet echoed across the vast hall, and for a moment there was only silence before the laughter began. Deep growls of amusement rolled from the Crux, sharp hissing chuckles came from the Velnari, and mocking tones spread among the rest of the alien cadets. To them, it was unthinkable that a fragile creature without claws, scales, or armor could dare to claim superiority over the most feared hunters of the galaxy. Even the instructor allowed himself a smile, curious but not yet convinced that this small voice carried anything more than arrogance. "Explain yourself, human," he demanded, his tone sharp but expectant. The young cadet did not shrink under their eyes. He straightened his shoulders and spoke with a calm strength that carried through the hall. He did not speak of fantasy or empty pride, but of history, how his people had endured storms that drowned continents, diseases that erased millions, and predators that once stalked them through the dark. He spoke of how humans had fought not only nature but themselves, wars so vast they scarred the world yet still ended with survival and rebuilding. He told them of crossing oceans in fragile wooden ships, of flying into the skies on machines that should never have left the ground, and of stepping into the void of space itself when the universe offered nothing but death. The laughter faded into uneasy silence as the cadets began to realize that this was not a child's boast, but a record of reality written in struggle and triumph. The human's voice lowered, steady as stone, as he ended his words. "We are not the strongest, not the fastest, not the largest. But we are the ones who do not stop." And for the first time, none dared to laugh. The instructor, unsettled by the cadet's bold words, decided that talk alone was not enough. With a wave of his clawed hand, he activated the training arena, a massive dome where simulations tested the survival skills of young warriors. "If humans are what you claim," the instructor said coldly, "then prove it." The challenge was clear. One by one, alien cadets had already faced the simulation. The Crux crushed theirs with brute force, the Velnari used speed and venom, and the Therian relied on armored hides and sheer endurance. The human's turn came, and the crowd whispered eagerly, certain he would fail. When the predators appeared, towering beasts with razor fangs and lightning speed, the human did not charge. Instead, he moved carefully, studying every sound and movement. He set traps with debris, tricked the creatures into chasing him through narrow passages, and used fire from broken emitters to drive them into ambushes. The aliens watched in disbelief as the human turned the battlefield itself into his weapon, adapting faster than the predators could change. Every moment looked like defeat, yet he kept fighting, refusing to give up. At last, the final beast fell, not to strength or size, but to cunning and determination. The human stood in the smoking arena, bruised and exhausted but smiling with quiet triumph. "This," he said into the silence, "is what it means to be us. We survive not because we are stronger, but because we never stop finding a way." The arena fell silent, and for the first time, the aliens felt something unfamiliar in their chests, not laughter, not mockery, but respect for the species they once thought fragile. That night, long after the simulation had ended, whispers spread through the academy halls. Some cadets could not believe what they had seen, while others felt an unease they could not shake. A small group of curious aliens slipped into the archives, determined to uncover the truth about Earth. What they found in the glowing records made their spines stiffen and their voices fall quiet. Humanity's history unfolded not as a tale of peace, but of endless survival. They saw records of ice ages where humans fought cold and hunger with fire and shelter of their own making. They read of plagues that should have erased entire civilizations, but instead forced humans to grow stronger, finding cures and adapting faster than nature's cruelty. Wars appeared in the archives too, not small battles, but conflicts that spanned continents, with destruction on a scale the cadets could barely imagine. Yet even when cities burned and millions perished, humanity always rebuilt, rising from the ashes as though the fire only made them harder. The archives showed explorers who sailed into oceans with no maps, astronauts who dared the empty void of space, and inventors who shaped weapons, machines, and tools to bend impossible odds. The cadets compared this history to their own species, and the difference was sharp. Where others had survived a single great trial, humans had faced 1,000 and kept going. Fear crept into their thoughts as they whispered among themselves, if this was the story of a species bound to one planet, what would happen when such survivors spread across the galaxy? For the first time, they wondered if the list on the holoscreen had been wrong all along, and if the human cadets' words were more than pride, they were a warning. The following day, the lecture hall was once again filled with cadets, but the air felt different, heavier with an unspoken tension. The holoscreen lit up with the same title: Top 5 Apex Species of the Galaxy. The names glowed as before, proud and unchallenged, but this time no one smirked and no one laughed. All eyes drifted toward the lone human cadet as he stood, calm and steady, his presence commanding the silence of the room. He walked to the front without hesitation, his voice carrying with quiet certainty as he spoke. "This list is wrong," he said, his tone firm but not arrogant. "There are not 5. There is only one." The words hung in the air like a blade, sharp and undeniable. He did not boast of power or strength, but reminded them of what they had all seen and what the archives had revealed, that humanity was not defined by claws, armor, or venom, but by a refusal to surrender no matter the odds. "Others rule their worlds," he continued, "but we face what cannot be faced. We make the impossible bend. We do not stop." The instructor, who had once smirked, said nothing now, his gaze steady but unreadable. Around the hall, alien cadets shifted uneasily, some with fear, others with awe, as if they were staring not at a student but at the voice of something inevitable. The silence stretched, broken only by the soft hum of the holoscreen, until the truth settled like stone in every mind present. The galaxy had many predators, many warriors, and many rulers, but only one species that refused to yield against anything the universe placed before them. In that moment, they all understood the human had not made a claim. He had spoken a fact. Humans were the only apex.